welcome to this small session where I want to introduce you a little bit to how to study a remedy and also a little bit to the third series of Remedies with Rajan that is about to begin on the 4th of July. So what is the idea of this series of these talks? I want to just tell you. You see, when we study a remedy and we want to use it in our practice, it would be best to study it from multiple angles. This is the same approach that we take during case taking also. So our case taking should match our understanding of the remedy. So how do we study a case? We study a case from the physical aspects, pathological aspects, mental aspects, sensation aspects, genius aspects, modalities aspect, miasm aspect. And now we have added two more dimensions to it, which are called the subclass and the superclass. So we study a patient from so many angles. When we want to find a remedy, we should know the remedy from all these angles, so that from whichever angle you look, you should see that remedy. Otherwise, you see, you look from one side, it looks like pulsatilla, another side looks like calcarea, third side looks like netramur. This is not working. Unless you have a multi-dimensional view, it's like, you have a room with an octagonal room, you can say, with 8 windows. And if you look from every window and you see the same thing, then you know that you are at the right point. I want to illustrate this with a small remedy example. We can take the remedy Veratrum album and how to understand it also. So first you can understand that Veratrum album is a remedy for collapse. It is a remedy with profuse perspiration, etc. These things you know from Materia Medica. So we have to understand its physical aspects, its characteristics, and all of that. And then when we go to the mind side, we can study some rubrics. For example, the rubric despair of social position. What does it mean? So, how to understand that? Here I would like to bring into this, series my experiences. And one experience I had was when I had to teach Veratrum album in the college many years ago. I decided to take a dose of Veratrum album 1M myself to experience, to prove. And then I had a dream that I was working for a big boss who was about to retire in a few days' time. And then it was his birthday, just before that. And for this celebration of the birthday, he had brought a whole stadium full of people. And I, as one of his employees, had to stand on stilts, those long legs, and go into the stadium dancing. And then the big boss, he would come out and then he would give his, appearance. It was a very big, extravagant kind of affair. Extravagance is a theme of Veratrum. But what was happening here? He was about to lose the boss's position in a few days. He was about to lose the attention that he was going to get, the limelight, the kind of, people's admiration that he was getting. And as a despair of that, losing that thing, He had organized a very extravagant and where all the attention was directed towards him. So this is how I understood, Veratrum album. This is the lecture I gave. The despair of social position, the extravagance, the egotism. Do you follow? And what is despair? Despair means it's a sudden loss, this sudden collapse, this sudden loss of strength. This suddenness indicates the acute miasm. So Veratrum compares with belladonna, stramonium, hyoscyamus in acute miasms. This is what we have to understand. And how can we use this in a case? You see, I can remember a woman who had come with a very, very acute, almost psychotic breakdown, a very acute anxiety state. And she was almost going crazy. She was brought in as an acute case to me by a patient of mine. And I said, what is happening? She said, I'm desperate. What happened? And she says, there was a circumstance in the house where she said the husband, he was going to throw me out on the street. And I was just holding on. I was clinging. I said, don't throw me, don't throw me. So this theme of being excluded, suddenly thrown out of the group, this is a very, very characteristic theme of the Liliaceae family. Excluded and suddenly excluded is Veratrum. And then I asked her, the question, do you like flowers, plants, etc.? And she said, yes, there's one thing I really like. I like the white lily. That was exactly, album is white and Veratrum is a lily. So the practical application of this in cases and how do you see it? And then comes the idea of the Monocotyledons, because the Liliaceae is a part of Monocotyledons. And what is the main theme of Monocotyledon? The main theme is I, me, myself. It's not the relation to the outside world, but it's all about me. When you think of Paris quadrifolia, when you think of Crocus sativa, it's all I, me, myself. I want the attention. I want to belong. I. It's all about I. When you think of Sacrum album, he wants the attention all the time. When you think of a remedy like vanilla, what is the theme of vanilla? Vanilla is a theme that she buys like 500 pairs of shoes. She wants all the attention, all the extravagance, all the attractiveness. You see, that's a beautiful proving of vanilla, where all this comes out, you see. There was a lady called Imelda Marcos or somebody like that, or Eva Perón in Argentina, who bought 1,000 pairs of shoes. And in India, there was a chief minister called Jayalalitha, who had like 10,000 saris or something like that. All the attention on me, so you have to see this. So this theme, as far as the subclass is concerned, it's coming in the Monocotyledons. It is coming in Liliaceae. It is coming in the rubric despair of social position. It is coming in the Liliaceae family, which has the theme of being excluded. It is coming in the acute miasm, which has the theme of suddenness and sudden collapse. And then it has the characteristics, the cold perspiration on the forehead, the extreme desire for icy cold drinks, the ice, etc. And then there are other, fears and this and that, which we can talk about. So when you see a remedy in this rounded fashion, when you see it from the provings, when you see it from the rubrics, when you see it from the miasms, when you see it from physical symptoms, general symptoms, mental symptoms, and when you see it from clinical cases and how it expresses in the clinic, then you get a very rounded and a very useful in practice idea about the remedy. And I wanted to bring, at least 50 common remedies and bring, my experience of last 40, 45 years of homeopathy with all these remedies, which I've used innumerable times, and show it to you from the way I look at it. So this has helped me the most. And if you master these 50 remedies that we are doing, we already done remedies with Rajan, 1 with 6, I think 2 with 6, and now we are starting with 3 with another 6. So we'll continue till we finish at least 50 remedies. And if this goes into you, then I can tell you that a very large percentage of your patients, you can identify the remedy. And many times we miss remedies or we over-prescribe remedies. Why do we over-prescribe? Because we get stuck on some remedies. And how can we avoid this over-prescribing and also missing? Just by looking at it from all the angles and also mastering, the clinical understanding and the cases, etc., etc. So this is what I want to bring to the profession, to also young homeopaths, to students also, and to also moderately and experienced homeopaths also. They can all benefit from this clinical experience and from a multifaceted approach to remedies. The other thing I want to bring into this is comparisons. For example, Veratrum lies in the 6th superclass. And what is the 6th superclass? It is a group of remedies from minerals, animals, and plants that have a certain dynamic, a certain basic reaction. In the 6th superclass, the basic reaction is like Belladonna, Stramonium in the Solanaceae family, Arnica, Nux vomica, Ignatia, Cicuta. These are in the 6th superclass. Attack, violent attack, you see. And what are the remedies here? We have remedies from the mineral kingdom, such as platina or mercury, the 6th row of the periodic table, the heavy metals. From the animal kingdom, we have the snakes, the reptiles, lachesis and other. Then we have lac leoninum. And from the plants, we have the 6th subclass of dicotyledons and the monocots. 6th subclass is, all the, as I told you, the Solanaceae, and then the Loganiaceae, and then the Rubiaceae, and then the Asteraceae, and all these remedies. So if you look at a Veratrum patient, you will see a lot of comparisons to lachesis, with the egotism, with the loquacity, with the desire for attention. You see, it's a lot like lachesis. You will also find very close connection with platinum. Again, because of the very high ego that they show, and I am the biggest, I am the greatest. So we have to compare all these. And then, of course, you have to compare Belladonna, Hyoscyamus, and Stramonium. And then you have to compare the collapse remedies. So we have to compare, and then you have to compare the Liliaceae remedies. What is Paris quadrifolia? What is Crocus sativa? You see, what is Lilium tigrinum? So these remedies also have to be compared. You understand? So I would like to compare all this also. You can see where exactly Veratrum comes in. So these are the things I want to bring into the, the series, into the study of the remedies. And I want to share with you all the experience that I have about these 50 or so remedies, so that it will help you a lot. So that's what I wanted to introduce you to, how I study, how I look at, and how I would like to convey this to you.